The hardest achievement I've unlocked to date, bar none, bar nothing. Who'd have thought that a game this beautiful and charming could cause me so much stress just for one achievement, to the point where I almost called it quits and gave up on it numerous times. But welcome to the video. I am the Smiley, a Steam achievement hunter who allows my viewers on Twitch and YouTube to suggest games we had to a randomizer for us to complete. The randomizer did not disappoint with this game, and it spat to us Ori and the Blind Forest. Developed by Moon Studios and released back in 2015, this is the first game in the series, and this Metroidvania style platforming game takes us to Nebel, which is on the brink of ruin, and with every step we unlock more to the lore of this game as we try to piece back together the fractured elements. With its breathtaking visuals and evocative haunting soundtrack, Ori and the Blind Forest is not just a game, it's an experience that will etch itself into your soul. So join me as I'll fool that this may be a charming but easy completion in the hunt for all 57 achievements, and how wrong was I? First of all, as always, we like to break down the steps we need to do in order to complete everything. It could potentially take you 2 runs to get all the achievements, with 2 difficulty based achievements, but for us it took 5. Run 1 is to play the game on hard mode and just enjoy the game for everything it has to offer. Learn the route for the next runs and just die a whole lot. Run 2 is 100% the game, but we lowered the difficulty to easy, and we've got all the miscellaneous achievements here too. There's quite a few of kill enemies with specific skills and unlock all of the skill trees. Run 3 is a speed run to beat the game in under 3 hours, and by this point the route is almost cemented in my brain. Run 4 is to complete the game without using any ability points, and you can do this on any difficulty. Finally, run 5, beat the game without dying and beat the game in 1 life mode. There's no prizes for which one of these runs is the one that caused me so much stress, but you know, let's start from the beginning and start the first run on hard mode. So we start off with the prologue. We learn a little bit around the lore about this game before we are rescued by Naru during a storm, and we start off happily ever after until a fateful night when all the food dries up and life withered and died. Naru gives us the last bits of food, and we venture out looking for some more food to give back to Naru. We find some, we take it back, but we're too late, and the big guy dies of starvation. With this heartbreak, we go wandering through our light, but take our last breath, and we see that the narrator's light revived us and a new age has dawned, completing the prologue and unlocking our first achievement. Whee! Complete the prologue. Now we are given control of the main character in the game, Ori, and we begin the game and enter the sunken glades. We found a secret passage whilst learning the controls to find the first secret in the game, as it wasn't very well hidden, locating a small spirit container which gives us spirit light. This is used to gain XP or levels to unlock abilities, and here we unlock another achievement. Find your first secret. Achievement unlocked. Easy, we're gonna fly through this. Moving forward, we learn about our health and energy, and the game gives us an energy cell which we can use to save the game by creating soul links or use our abilities. After leading the round to break a wall and being crushed by the falling rocks, we found another spirit light container and are granted our first ability, which we use on the attack tree, and picking our first skill unlocks this achievement. Another achievement unlocked. Use your first ability point. Whilst adventuring, we find a tiny light and we pick it up immediately, and then it starts to talk to us and tell us that they are called Seen, Sign, Sheen, Shine, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, the light of the spirit tree who guides us on our journey. Before being ambushed again by 3 frog monkey type things, but now we've seen, which is what we've decided to name the light, guiding us, we could finally attack using the spirit flame. The seed then asks us to head towards Hollow Grove to find the spirit tree. Now that we can attack, more enemies do appear across the whole of Nebel, making our way to the spirit tree. The next enemy does kill us. This will become a theme of this playthrough, but back to the soul link again. After dying a little bit too many times here, we discover the first spirit wells that we can find across Nebel. They're a save point, but also acts as a way to fast travel to the different sections of the world. Anyways, moving forward, we come across a keystone which are to be collected to unlock the spirit gates before we can progress into the next areas. Some of them take 2 keys, whilst others take 4, but are usually located relatively close to each other. We then accidentally found a life cell which increases our life by 1 permanently. But each one that we do find, it will become a big help, especially on the hard difficulty. Entering the spirit caverns, we take down a few more enemies and collecting spirit light to keep our abilities up. We learn about mapstones, and we can find the mapstone fragments. Once you've brought this back to the mapstone, it will unlock the full map for this section, so we can look around and see where we're going and what we need to collect. In this area, we discover the first of the ancestral trees, and each time we find one of these, we are granted a new skill. The first skill that we do learn is wall jump, so we can jump off walls and get higher up in the world. Utilizing the skill, we do find another energy cell, which just like the life cells, increases our energy by 1. Thankfully, when you do find one of these ancestral trees, it does count as a save point, as we've not been utilizing the soul link, which is to save your progress, and we keep dying and we spawn back. We finally used all of our ability points to increase our skills and abilities, but for no particular reason, we just picked one of them. We found our first mapstone fragment and placed it in the mapstone itself, giving us a full view of the sunken glades and unlocking yet another achievement. Achievement unlocked, restore your first mapstone. After making a fair bit of progress, we died and head right back to this ancestral tree. Chat tells me again that we need to save the game. Yes, all the way through this playthrough, they do tell me this. But back at the ancestral tree, we find the map fragment. We pop the map fragment back in the map stone to unlock all the view of the sunken glades. And we get back to where we died. We discover an energy gate which we can use our energy cells on to open. They are usually places to get energy or life cells or the open shortcuts. After finding all the keystone fragments for this section, we enter Hollow Grove and we meet the ancient being itself, the spirit tree, which I think is the narrator for this whole game too. But we unlock this achievement, meet the ancient being, achievement unlocked. And learning that it used the last of its strength to save us from death in the prologue. We get a cutscene that Kuru, the main villain of this game, stole Cien from the spirit tree, and this caused the issues that Nebo was having. Kuru stole Cien, and it was the end of our days. Cien then tells us about the spirit tree and the fate of the world is in our hands. There are 3 elements of light and they are all contributing to the balance of Nebel. Without these, this is what's causing the issues in the world. The first element is the element of waters, which is located in the Ginzo tree. The element of winds, which is in the Forlorn Ruins. And then the element of warmth, which is found at Mount Horu. So the first being at the Ginzo tree is where we need to head to next. On our way, we do locate another ancestral tree for our next skill, the charge flame, which can be used to charge up Cien and break doors. We accidentally unlocked 2 achievements whilst progressing towards the Ginzo tree, which are these. Kill 3 enemies without touching the ground and kill 4 enemies simultaneously whilst using a charge flip. Good English, but we got 2 achievements. We did then find another life orb, but we died a few times trying to grab it. Before discovering we can save at the very top. And then we collected it and progressed forward, finding another energy cell. We found our way to Thornfelt Swamp and discovered the next spirit well, so we could teleport here. Upon the Deathless Run, we do come here quite a few times. But we head up to the Ginzo tree for watching something steal the water vein. Achievement unlocked, discover the character in the shadows. And we set off in pursuit, chasing them through Moon Grotto, one of my most hated parts. But on our first playthrough, we nailed the Death Lasers first time. We don't normally. And we carry on chasing the creature that stole the water vein. But we enter a mini boss arena where we have to take down the enemies before the doors unlock. After dispatching these enemies, we're given a keystone ready to lock the door where we can get our next skill, double jump. This opens up a lot more of the game to be explored, and at this point we could backtrack to try and get some more secrets, but we'll leave that for another playthrough. Still trying to locate Gumo, we accidentally lead one of the frog monkey things to kill itself, unlocking this achievement. Cause an enemy to destroy itself. Achievement unlocked. Thank you, Frogman. We find Gumo, who gets himself stuck trying to ambush us. He then sends rock tumbling our way and we need to dodge to get to him. This is what most of the boss fights are in this game. The more chase and platforming sequence rather than a boss fight itself, but we complete that, and once we've finally done so, on our first attempt and not dying over 10 times, we set him free, and with that he shows us gratitude and gives us the water vein, unlocking this achievement. Achievement unlock, make an unexpected friend. And then this allows us to return back to the Ginzo tree. My stream footage did corrupt for the next section, so I won't be able to show the unlocking of the achievements, but in this section we did unlock 5 achievements, being enter the Ginzo tree, double jump 5 times without touching the ground, cleanse the Ginzo tree's heart, restore 50% of all the map stones, and break open 5 shortcuts using charge flame. However, we do have footage of the path we've taken from our other runs, so we're going to use that here, but that's why certain achievements don't pop and why the counter is incorrect, and my platforming does become a lot better than it should be at this stage in the game. Anyway, with that cleared up, we head back to the Ginzo tree and enter the water vein and pop it back in its rightful place. This opens up the tree so we can enter. We make our way through the puzzles and platforming, learn just how hard some of the timing of the jumps can be, especially with the teleporter double jumps that you do not touch the ground until you got into the other side. Understanding some of the puzzles to use the flower bullets to unlock the next doors and taking on another combat room before we are granted our next ability, Bash, which I believe is the best ability in the game. It allows us to jump off obstacles, enemies, and reach new areas to progress through Nebel that bit quicker. At the top of the Ginzo tree, we come to its heart where we need to get rid of the corruption that has taken over it. To do so, we need to complete 2 more puzzle rooms that are pretty straightforward before destroying the corruption on either side. Then, let me tell you, if I had the footage here, you will see just how many times we died at this first proper chase sequence. The tree starts to fill up with water and we chase out at the top of the tree, but once you tried it 100 times on the multiple playthroughs, from the footage you've seen here, it does become a whole lot easier. But I still think this is one of the hardest chase sequences in the game. We then get another cutscene and we are saved by Gumo, and scene shows us that the waters of Nebel are now safe, no longer filled with corruption, so that means we can swim in them. There are a few things here that we need to do before we can progress to the next section, which is to collect the keystones and unlock the door to gain the ability Stomp. Now that we've got Stomp, we could progress into the next area, which is the Valley of Wind, where we could first come across some of the more annoying enemies, these birds. Again, this footage is still from another run, so it's a lot harder here in the first playthrough, but we come to another section here and we cannot cross as Kuru is watching, and if we come out for even a second they will catch us and insta-kill us. We need to make our way up and over the line of sight by using Bash on these smaller birds to get over this gap and drop these rocks onto its head. After we've startled her, she flies into the rocks and drops a feather that we can use to glide, giving us another ability ability. We glide our way over to the Misty Woods, which I'm glad we don't have footage here for, because we died over 50 times in this section like a noob. In this section is where we do get our footage back, as it's another stream. This section of the Misty Woods is designed that we're getting lost, and when we reach certain areas, the path behind us changes. Progressing through this section and definitely not dying over and over and over again, we finally get to another tree, which gives us the ability to climb walls so we don't slide them when we jump on a wall now. Another section which drove us mad on both this playthrough and also deathless runs purely for one jump is this jump over these flowers. When you jump, they either appear or hide, so you need to jump again for them to come back, or vice versa. But they cover these death lasers, and if you do get hit by these death lasers, it's insta-death, so they do become annoying. Making progress through the Misty Woods, we trick the spider into killing a frogman thing and earn this achievement. Achievement unlocked. Trick 5 enemies into killing each other. Easy. And then we enter another combat room, take down these enemies before picking up this orb and returning it to the beginning of Misty Woods. Thankfully, the path does change behind us and we don't need to backtrack that far. When dropping the orb in the shrine, we unlock this achievement for clearing the mist from the Misty Woods. So now is it just called the Woods? Chilling. Clear the hazy. Clear the haze from the Misty Woods. Achievement unlocked. We are also reloaded with the Goomon seal to unlock the Forlorn Ruins, and we head to this section of the map. Back through the Misty Woods, back through the Valley of Wind, and towards the bottom, and then we enter the Forlorn Ruins and input the seal, unlocking the door. We enter and we are met with a sight of all the Goomon frozen as the door was closed and they had no escape. We find a light vessel that we need to carry through the Forlorn Ruins that also protects us from the lava flow and changes the gravity so we can walk up walls whilst carrying it. This section took me far longer than I would like to admit. Between being upside down and forgetting which way was left and right, I kept falling into the spikes or on the moving platform whilst being sideways, but after a lot of attempts we enter a section where we need to collect all the keystones. First two aren't that complicated to get, but until we land on these blocks and when we jump off, the gravity is changed to the face we're standing on. We battle on finding the keystones and unlocking the keystones door until we get another cutscene and we see Gumos followed us into the Forlorn Ruins. We input the light orb into the shrine, which unlocks the next door, and we witness the sadness of Gumo finding all of his dead friends and relatives. We enter the heart of the Forlorn Ruins and Sheen shows us the element of wind and restores the balance of this element before Gumo steals another orb and then the ruins begin to crumble. We do unlock this achievement though. Restore the winds of Nebel. Let's go. And we're here onto the next of the chase sequences. This one is using the glide ability to escape, and after a few attempts it's pretty short and easily completed. We are blown into Kuro's nest where we learn the reason why she is so mad. The light that we need to survive has also erased her babies from existence and she is just trying to protect the last one of her eggs from perishing. Kuro then returns and chases out of their nest, and this next section is honestly so cool. One of my favourite sections in the game. If we don't find shelter or hide behind obstacles, then Kuro will insta-kill us, so we need to be quick and know where we are going. If we're out in the open for too long, Kuro will get us, but we make our way across this section, and after escaping to a part where Kuro can't get us, we unlock this. Achievement unlocked, have a close encounter. Scene then tells us what we know, that Kuro is just protecting her child. We have one last element to resolve, the element of warmth. But first, we must get the Sunstone to unlock the volcano of Mount Horu, and this is located at the top of Sorrow's Pass, which is where we need to head to now. This section is almost all done whilst using the winds to glide in to get around it and dodge the enemies and the spikes on the wall. There's a few puzzle sections here to collect the keystones to unlock the doors, but the hardest one includes bashing these rocks to block off the death lasers so we can progress through. There's another section we need to continuously glide through small gaps and collect more keystone fragments before unlocking the next door and earning this achievement. Achievement unlocked, kill 25 enemies using the bashed reflect projectile. And the final ability that we get from the ancestral tree on this playthrough is the charge jump. We can use this standing or whilst using climb on the wall to get through barriers and also further all the obstacles that will kill us. This next section is very tricky with this skill that we've just unlocked. We get to another well and a save point, so we can be a little bit less careful as we're not too far back if we do die, but after that we avoid a few more death lasers and open up the path to the wind to carry us to the very top of Sorrow's Pass, so we can get the Sunstone to open Mount Horu, and we also get this. Achievement unlocked, a climb to the top of Nebel. But after we head off to Mount Horu, we are shown that Gumo takes it off the Forlorn Ruins and uses it to revive Naru, and they both head off to Mount Horu themselves. Went back to the well in Sorrow's Pass and we teleported back to a closer well and headed up towards Mount Horu, unlocking the entrance with the Sunstone and unlocking this. Achievement unlocked, enter Mount Horu. Horu. We thought the game was pretty difficult to begin with, but my word, the difficulty spike in this section is an absolute nightmare. Almost everything we touch insta-kills us. There's lava everywhere, insta-death. There are loads of enemies compared to the rest of the game. There's thousands more. Spikes everywhere, and even platforms heat up to damage us. We need to get to the very top of this area before we enter any of the rooms. There are 8 rooms in total, and we need to get to the end of each one and block off the lava. By blocking off the lava, it stops the flow for the room underneath so we can enter it, and there's 4 on each side that we need to do this, top to bottom first. The first room we entered, we have to make our way around the spikes at the bottom before using this switch to bring the platform over. lava. Now, we learned that we were doing this the wrong way. We were doing this a lot harder than it needed to be, and we figured that out in our later runs. But we tried to charge jump through this gap whilst the death lasers were being covered up by the platform we were standing on. And in a few attempts of doing so, we blocked the lava and then on to the next room. This is one of the easiest rooms to escape from after you've already blocked the lava. Room 2, we need to glide through these spikes and trigger these platforms to fall without being underneath them when they fall. At the bottom, we need to cross this lava, and the bullets that the enemies fire, we need to bash over them to get over this wall of spikes, and then we use scene to break this rock and block the lava. To leave this room, we then need to do it all again, but backwards. We need to use bash again over the lava from the enemy. We need to trigger the platforms to fall and then jump on the top of the platform to get higher up. And once we've escaped, we can go to the rooms underneath these first 2 rooms. Room 3 is a combat room, but with a twist. We have to use the enemy's bullets and bash over them to get to the end so that we can come back and kill all the enemies using their own bullets, all without touching any of the ground as it's just spikes. Unlocking the door, we can block the lava and easily leave this room. Thankfully. Room 4 we enter and notice the laser pointing straight up. There's a switch at the bottom that we stomp on. This starts spinning the laser, which breaks open a room with a block in. We can push this block to block the lava, but we need to make sure we are avoiding the laser whilst it's still spinning. Once blocked, we can charge jump out of this room. We created a soul link here purely for safety and unlock this achievement for using 50 soul links. Only 50 at this point because, you know, we keep forgetting to use them. Create 50 soul links achievement unlocked. Room 5 is a fast-paced room. We stomp to break the ground and we need to jump across these platforms before the enemies shoot them, as they destroy them when they do. We can use the enemies or the walls to progress upwards before being shot at by a laser beam and having to run fast before the platforms are destroyed again. At the end, we block off the lava before we need to glide back down the way we've just come, bashing off the enemy's bullets to escape this room. I honestly thought this room would have been one of the harder ones to complete on the Deathless run, but it just looks harder than it actually is, and it's quite fun to do once you get the hang of it. Room 6, you can take this one slow. It's more used for charged up to get across platforms without touching the spikes or the lava. After some careful maneuvering through this room, we come to a switch that sets a platform moving upwards. We have to jump from side to side of the platform, hanging onto the platform as it rises, avoiding the death lasers. We push the block in the lava to block it, and then we slowly backtrack out of this room. Room 7, we are met by 2 laser shooting enemies that we need to avoid first. Then comes a puzzle. We need to keep blocking off the lasers by moving this stone and blocking off the laser from above, so we can safely run underneath. After moving the block forwards and using sheen to block the lava, we move on to the 8th room. The final room. We use bash to jump forward on the lava, avoiding all of the obstacles along the way, before we get to the end of this section and stomp on the switch, which unleashes a massive flow of lava that chases us back down the way we've just come. We do get to the end of this room thinking that we've done it, but we actually haven't blocked any lava off, so we go back in and the lava opens another section in this room that we need to beat. We could go further down now, and we need to get across this section by avoiding these death lasers, stomp on the switch at the end, and then return backwards. That's all 8 of these rooms completed. The lava then starts leaving Mount Horu, opens up a passage that we can enter further down. But first, we have a combat section where we need to beat the enemy before we restore the element of warmth in Mount Horu. But Koru stops us in our tracks. We do unlock this achievement before we need to evacuate the volcano and quick. Fan the flames, achievement unlocked. The final chase sequence begins as we try to escape the volcano and also Koru chasing us. When we just escape, the volcano explodes, leaving the forest around us on fire. We get up and look towards the spirit tree, unlocking this achievement. Complete the game on hard difficulty, achievement unlocked. Let's go. But we are getting attacked by Koru, and we take control of the big guy, Naru, and run to rescue Ori, unlocking this achievement. Love a beloved bond, achievement unlocked. Which makes Koru understand that we are just protecting our own family, just as she is protecting hers. She notices that her final egg is no longer safe from the fire and chooses to sacrifice herself to restore the light to Nebel and stop the fire from spreading up to her egg. We rescue the egg and look after it before it starts to hatch, and after the final cutscene, we unlock this achievement. The journey ends, complete the game. And with that, that's the first step completed. We've beaten the game on the hard difficulty. Step 2, we did attempt to do the speed run whilst also getting 100%, so we wanted to complete the game first in under 3 hours, and then we could just progress the game as normal, getting all the achievements that we needed to do for 100%. We didn't manage to get the speedrun done in this playthrough, so we just went for 100%. And I was going to show you everything that we did in this run, but with the video already creeping up and the fact that the final step is by far the most interesting thing, I thought we'd just give ourselves a brief update on all the progress we made. Firstly, to complete the game again, it did just take us over the speedrun time, so we didn't unlock that achievement. We had to do another run. But here's what we did. We found Scene, we headed to the Ginzo tree, we saw Gumo steal the water vein, we rescued Gumo and the water vein in the Moon Grotto, headed back to the Ginzo tree, destroyed the corruption of its heart, escaped the Ginzo tree, headed to the Valley of Wind, dropped the rocks on Kuro, entered the Misty Woods, got through the Misty Woods and rewarded with the Forlorn Ruins key, went to the Forlorn Ruins and restored the element of wind, went to Sorrow's Pass, climbed to the very top, got the Sunstone from Mount Horu, beat all of the 8 rooms, escaped Mount Horu, and we actually did this 3 more times before the final attempt at the Deathless. Once because we failed the speed run, once for the speed run, and then finally for not spending any Spirit Light on ability points. Within these 3 runs, we unlocked the most during that 100%, as a majority of collecting all the secrets, but here is a list of everything we needed. We crushed around with a Stomper, killed 50 enemies with Stomp, found 50% of all achievements, earned all efficiency skills, activated 3 torches using the Light Burst, collect 200 energy shards, uncovered Naru's mystery, earn all the utility skills, found the Lost Corridor in the Misty Woods, earn all combat skills, earn all skills, collect all energy cells, kill 5 enemies with charge jump, escape the boulder in the Blackroot Burrows, collect all health cells, save at every spirit well, restore all of the map stones, visit 100% of the map, find all the secrets, bash off enemies 10 times without touching the ground, kill 5 enemies using charge dash, kill 50 enemies using light burst, kill 100 enemies using charge flame, kill 500 enemies using spirit flame, juggle a rock 5 times without touching the ground, complete the game in under 3 hours, and complete the game without using an ability point. After all 3 of those runs, we're on to the last 2 of these achievements. One for completing the game without dying, and one for completing the game without dying on 1 life mode. Basically the same achievement, but you could probably cheese the first one and reload a previous save file, but the 1 life mode prevents this. At least on Steam it does. So begins possibly the hardest achievement of my streaming career so far. We spent over 30 hours of attempts at this stupid run. We tried multiple routes and ways that we can go to get more health, more energy cells before pushing forward, but in the end this is the route that we chose to stick to for the majority of the attempt. So it's the same path as all the other runs up until the Ginzo tree. But once we've escaped the Ginzo tree, we went on a detour for a few easy to grab energy cells, life cells and ability cells. We landed on only going for 9 health. As Mount Horu, the enemies hit for 4 HP, meaning that anything more felt like it took way too long for very little reward. So we stuck on 9 HP, meaning that we could take 3 hits before the death of normal enemies. If we took 2, we'd pause, save and quit, which does prevent you from dying and is far safer way to do this. I can hear shouting, but doesn't that make this easy then? And the answer is no. You can take damage so quickly it's still hard to catch the pause before the death animation happens, and it's almost the frame that you die is the frame that it counts towards the death, so the run is over. On this detour we also went for dash after grabbing all the life cells purely just for 1 jump in this game. 1. And it's this stupid jump in Misty Woods. It became such a sticky point that we almost ended trying to get this achievement. But someone in chat suggested grabbing dash. That way we didn't need to jump from the platforms, making this section so much safer because you didn't need to jump from this platform to this platform. You could just dash over the gap and it became so much easier. But then we progressed the same way as previous runs, making our way through the game and not really taking it slowly as we become so good at 90% of the game. It was just getting tedious, spending 90 minutes plus to get back to Mount Horu, only to die in the first or second room. Without any stupidity on my point, I'd make it back to Mount Horu almost every single time. But it was around this time we were heading off on holiday IRL, and I wanted to get this game completed so much before we went away. And we got to the final room and our final run before the holiday, and this happened. To explain myself, I panicked that I was taking damage from the enemy. I also panicked at the floor and I forgot about the lasers and I died. I have never, ever been so mad, upset, angry, devastated, whatever word you want to call it, that's what we're going to call it. But that was the worst I've ever felt about a video game in my life. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning and I just wanted to stop. But we came back off holiday and we picked up almost where we left off. It took us a little bit to get into the swing of things again, and after another 10 to 15 hours of attempts before we finally beat all 8 rooms, and we only had the chase sequence left. We had practiced this final chase a few times using our previous saves and just completing the chase sequence, but we got really good at it and we were doing it first time every single time. We watched a YouTube video just to make sure we were doing it as safely as possible, and then this is it. There's no more preparation that we can do. We've got to run it, we've got to beat it, and I've done it. I think I've done it. I think I've done it. 30 plus hours. Where's the second achievement? Where's the achievement for beating the game on 1 life mode? We checked, definitely on one life mode. What's going on? Waited for the cutscene to play out, all the credits to roll, still nothing. Shut the game down, relaunched it, double check that we're playing on one life mode again just to make sure we are. Why is it not unlocking? What's happened? And then I found it. You cannot die and restart the same game file. So if you do die and you get a kickback to the main menu, your save file's there and you can restart it. We restarted it, but for some reason the game notices that this save file has had a death. So what we're going to do, I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to spend another 90 minutes per run, another 30 plus hours of attempts just to do it again. So we ended the stream there, went and cried ourselves to sleep, and then the next day we spent the full day seeing if there's any way we could potentially make this achievement pop. We found that if you save the game file to another save file location on the game, you can actually just run the last chase scene, and for some people it does pop, for others it doesn't. We ran it, we popped it, and we finished the game. I'm also considering uploading the full run so you can see the full run on a separate video. So if you want to watch that in all its glory, feel free to. But with that, that's this gorgeous game completed. 57 out of 57 achievements unlocked. Way over the guide estimation of the completed time, but that does include a way that you can cheese the deathless run on Xbox that you can't do on Steam. So all in all, I think a very respectable time. If you could beat my time, or if you have already beat the game, let me know in the comments below how long it took you. Or if you have a particular game that you want me to tackle next in our hunt for achievements, drop your suggestions in the comments below, or whilst I'm live over on Twitch at The Smiley, and we'll add it to our ever-expanding list of suggestions. Before you go, make sure to smash that like button, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications to join our growing community of fellow hunters. But for now, this is The Smiley signing off, and I'll catch you in the next one.